What's up, people? Joe Winko here, your favorite Hawaiian guy, and this is just a video I'm going to be doing for the people who are interested in some of the stuff in my personal life, but I'm also going to be talking about the hurricane as well. However, I wouldn't watch this video if you're being directly affected by Hurricane Helene because you might find this video offensive. Don't say I didn't warn you. And also, do not watch this video if you're homophobic as well. I actually just thought of this because I kept seeing on the news how badly Ashland, North Carolina was affected by Hurricane Helene. To be completely honest with all of you, I actually do not live in the areas that were affected by Hurricane Helene. However, I almost did end up living in the areas that got affected, specifically Ashland, North Carolina, the place that was hit hardest by Hurricane Helene. Before I say anything else in this video, I just want to make it clear that I know that I got the name of the town wrong as I was doing this video. It's Ashville, North Carolina, so you don't have to correct me on that. For some reason, I kept saying Ashland or Ashford over and over again. I was getting mixed up. I was kind of out of it when I did this video, so yeah. But you guys all know what town I'm talking about, Asheville, North Carolina. Here is where I'll be talking about my personal life. Those of you who've been watching me on YouTube for a while will probably remember this. Back when I was 21, things in my life were not going well, and I was worried about becoming homeless, and I was looking for people to live with online. I actually ended up meeting this old gay man on this dating site called Silver Daddies. All the men on that site are grumpy old jerks, by the way. I don't remember what his name was, but me and him were talking to each other for a very short while. He told me that he lived in Ashland, North Carolina, and that he was looking for a younger guy to come live with him. I was living in Wisconsin at that point, and the main place I wanted to go live in was Florida, which is exactly where I live right now. But I was open to moving any place down south, really, because I wanted to live someplace warm. But I wasn't really thrilled with Ashland, North Carolina, because I'm not really into the mountains at all, honestly. I mean, they're fun to visit, but wouldn't want to live up there. But at that time, I felt like I was running out of options, so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll come to Ashland, North Carolina to come live with you. Just send me a bus ticket down there and I'll come visit and see how we get along. And this guy was emailing me and he told me, yeah, you can come live with me and there's plenty of jobs down here that you can get. And I was being completely honest. I can't hold a job at all because of my autism, ADHD, and type 1 diabetes, as most of you guys should know. That's even what I had on my profile on Silver Daddies back then. I mean, I literally laid it all out there. But I reminded this guy in Ashland, North Carolina, that I can't hold a job at all because of my autism and ADHD and type 1 diabetes. However, I should be able to get all my medication and food and everything from the state. And apparently he wasn't okay with that. It wasn't really that he didn't want me to come live with him because he thought it would be expensive. It seemed more like he didn't want me to come live with him because like he just wanted me to like have a job and everything for some stupid reason. He said in his emails that he didn't want me sitting around his house doing nothing all day. Even though I have tons of ways that I keep myself preoccupied, like my YouTube videos and my gaming live streams and lots of other stuff like that. But he didn't want me to come live with him unless I got a job, even though I couldn't hold one at all. And it seemed along the lines that he would be nagging me to get a job the whole entire time if I moved down there. And I already got enough of that from my adoptive mother. If you saw my first episodes of Deaths of Joe Winko, I'll have a link to that in the pinned comments. But I told him again I can't hold a job at all because of my autism, my ADHD, and type 1 diabetes that I suffer from. And apparently he was extremely prejudiced about that, even though I would be able to get my own food from the state and my own medication and healthcare from the state. He was extremely prejudiced against that, and he told me that I can't come to Ashland, North Carolina and live with him. And I wasn't really upset by that because that's something that was going on a lot. And plus, Ashland, North Carolina was not a place that I was really that interested in. My mind was at really dark places back then, so I really didn't care at that time that things weren't working out so well. However, what I didn't know till now is that things actually did work out well because had he been okay with that and had me move down to Ashland, North Carolina and come live with them, I would have been right in the middle of this Hurricane Helene disaster that went on in Ashland, North Carolina. It killed tons of people there, more people than it killed in Florida. I have no idea whether this guy died or not, really, because I forgot what his name was. And I haven't even tried going through and seeing if I had the emails from him saved at all. But I'm not sure whether or not he died at all, really. But it's also very possible that that dude was already dead before the hurricane even hit, because even back then, when I saw the one picture of him, he looked close enough to death as it is, really. This reminded me of the whole South Carolina Backstabbers episode of Joe Winko Talk that I did. That one upset me more because I talked to those guys a lot more. And also, I kept thinking that if they would have had me come to live with them, they would have been alive and I would have convinced them to evacuate for Hurricane Florence. But for this one in Asheville, North Carolina, if I was living up in Asheville, North Carolina, and there was a hurricane coming towards me, I would have been caught completely off guard because what I always thought was the places near where the hurricane makes landfall, near the water, are the dangerous areas. I never really thought of how dangerous it is up in the mountains when a hurricane is coming for you. Because hurricanes have like moist air and everything, and when it collides with the mountains, that's what causes it to rain. And the ground was already completely saturated in Ashland, North Carolina. It couldn't hold any more moisture, and that's why the flooding was so bad. So it makes perfect sense why it happened there, now that I think of it, but that was something that I never thought of. I didn't think of that now, and I sure as hell didn't think of it back then, because I would have just thought I was safe up in Ashland if I would have been living there at that time. It's quite chilling, honestly, but I'm glad that I dodged that bullet, really. But it's really sad what's happening to all the other people up there. Another chilling thing is I actually knew of people who have actually left Florida and moved to Ashland, North Carolina, because they thought that it would be a safer place to live from the hurricanes because they're so far away from the water. There's been quite a few people that I know of who've claimed that before all this hurricane stuff happened. It's pretty damn chilling to see how that worked out, honestly. I'm also very glad that I no longer live in Pinellas County because 9 people, at least 9 people, were actually killed by Hurricane Helene as it was coming up the water right outside of Pinellas County. It didn't even make a direct hit to Pinellas County, but it funneled all the storm surge into Tampa Bay, and that's how it flooded Pinellas County. I always knew that one day that that would happen, and that's why I never wanted to spend the rest of my life living in Pinellas County. Clearwater, if you guys want to know exactly where I lived back then. But now there's another hurricane on the way, which seems like it's going to be making a direct hit to Pinellas County, Hurricane Milton, which is expected to be a major hurricane. I'm very glad that I do not live there anymore, but I still am worried about it, even though I'm a long ways from the water. I really don't think anything like Ashland, North Carolina is going to happen where I live because it's definitely not mountainous where I live. I'm just worried about the power outages, really. That's what happened during Hurricane Ian back in 2022. Power was out for 2 damn days. It was awful, honestly, but I'm better prepared for that now. At that time, I definitely wasn't. It's also really scary how this hurricane killed so many people in North Carolina, even though it didn't make landfall there. Usually, always with hurricanes, it kills people where it makes landfall at, and that's ground zero for the destruction. For example, Hurricane Michael was just the panhandle of Florida. Hurricane Katrina was just New Orleans, Louisiana. But now with Hurricane Helene, you have people dead in Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, and North Carolina, and I believe even Tennessee and Virginia as well. It's pretty damn chilling, honestly, and that's all I have to say about it right now. So, yeah, peace out, people.